In this video, I'm going to go through 3 mistakes that you're probably making that will almost guarantee that you never hit your weight loss goals. What's going on YouTube, it's Jason, and in this video, we're going to be discussing whether too much cardio is making you fat. Now, I just want to start by saying 2 things. Number 1, this is not clickbait. There is genuine scientific backing behind what I'm about to say. And number 2, I completely see how this happens. Our favorite fitness influencers are rocking these shredded physiques and using cardio, and also our favorite athletes are performing so well and using cardio. We get inspired by these people and think that if we use cardio, we'll look like them and perform like them. But unfortunately, the way we use cardio is screwing us over. In this video, I'm going to go through 3 mistakes that you're probably making that will almost guarantee that you never hit your weight loss goals. Mistake number 1 is doing your cardio before your weights. Now, I hate to say it, but I generally see this mistake made more by women than men as they look to avoid the weights area, which they find intimidating. But men still do it as well. What does science say? Science says that when we do our cardio first, that our lifts tend to suffer. They generally find that you perform worse doing cardio first and weights after than if you just did weight training on its own or you did cardio after your weight session. Now, why is that an issue? Well, most of us that are lifting weights, if we've built some muscle, at some point would have had to be lifting more and eating more. If you're now trying to do more cardio and eat less and also lift less, what incentive has your body got to hold on to that muscle? You didn't build your muscle lifting light weights. So you're not going to retain your muscle lifting light weights either. And it's important to note that muscle has the biggest influence on our metabolism. If you lose muscle mass, your metabolism slows down. If your metabolism slows down, it's going to make it harder for you to lose body fat. Mistake number 2 is just doing cardio. Whenever someone is carrying too much body fat, the typical response is, right, all in, 5 days a week cardio. You see it all over social media, particularly on TikTok. This is a big mistake. The average person doesn't track their nutrition and, to be frank, has substandard nutrition. They're not getting enough protein in and they don't even weight train. When you go all in on cardio, you only need to look at marathon runners. They are skin and bone. People think that by doing loads of cardio, they're gonna turn out like some sort of lean athlete, sprinter kind of build. Absolutely not. You're more likely to look like Mo Farah or Paula Radcliffe. Now, to be clear, it doesn't mean that doing cardio causes muscle loss. A lot of bodybuilding folklore makes you think that cardio kills your gains. It doesn't, but the way the typical person eats, no protein. The way the typical person trains, no weight training. If you are also doing cardio, which sends no muscle building signal, your risk of muscle loss is a lot higher. And as we mentioned, when you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down. So if you are trying to diet and you are just doing cardio, there's a very high chance that your deficit will be smaller and eventually you may not be losing as much fat and could even start gaining fat in the long term. And mistake number 3, and by far the biggest mistake of them all, is doing too much cardio. A lot of people hit the panic button when they've got too much body fat and think, let me do 2 hours of cardio a day. Now, there are 3 issues that come off the back of that. Number 1 is an increased appetite, especially among those who don't track their calories. What you find is people will be burning 700-800 calories per day through cardio. That increases their metabolism and energy expenditure, and they end up eating those calories in food. And so what you get is 800 calories more burnt and 800 calories more consumed. Your net is 0. And so loads of people complain and say, oh, I've been doing all this cardio, I'm not losing any weight, because you're breaking even, because you're replacing those calories. The second issue with too much cardio is the risk of lower testosterone. What we see in the scientific studies is that when people start doing too much cardio and cortisol increases in the body because of the extra stress you're placing on the body, this can actually have an impact on testosterone levels. If your testosterone drops, you lose muscle, once again, lose muscle, slow metabolism, fat loss becomes harder. And the final problem under doing too much cardio is what's described in science as the overcompensation effect. So let's say someone is burning 2,000 calories per day and they add 600 calories of cardio. Initially, they may be burning some decent calories, but the longer that goes on, what you will find is their net burn for the day maybe goes down to like 14 or 1,500, so that the extra 600 calories they're burning from cardio ends up basically being negated as though you never added it in the first place. And they found this in the Hadza tribe, that these guys were moving something like, I think 18 or 20,000 steps a day, somewhere there. And they found that they weren't losing weight week to week, even though their step count was crazy. And that's because the things that we do day to day, which constitute as NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, things like fidgeting, blinking, stuff like that, that stuff drops. And so what you find is that your cardio doesn't have the desired effect. And so all of these mistakes are mistakes people make with cardio, and it causes their fat loss to plateau, or some people in the end up gaining a bit of weight, which is crazy, right? Because they've added loads of cardio and actually end up creeping up on the scale. The most reliable way to lose body fat and the primary method should always be diet. And this is why I encourage clients to say that if you want to lose body fat, go first with your nutrition, 70% of the equation, figure out your resistance training program, and then add cardio in as a bonus. Cardio should be your dessert, your nutrition should be your main meal, and your weight training should be your side orders. In my own journey and as a coach over the last 10 years, this by far has been the most effective strategy that's allowed me to get clients in the shape of their lives. So that's everything. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Don't forget to like it if you did. If you want more details on coaching and perhaps you're at a plateau or at a sticking point in your journey and you would like to lose body fat and get lean for the summer, or just get lean generally, click the link below, let's have a chat. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to follow me on this journey, and I'll see you again soon.